Fantasy Nerds, and welcome to week number 13 in the Cash League and yet another cheesy league video. Well, here I am just sitting at my desk today, nothing too exciting, because I actually have something serious I want to talk to you about, and that is our playoff seeds. I know that some of you have been kind of confused about what is actually going on, so I wanted to talk through some of the league rules and what it actually means. So here we go. I'll talk through it really quickly, really briefly, but what I wanted to start out with was sort of where the standings are as we head into this week. Sort of if the playoffs were to begin and week 13 didn't exist as a regular season matchup, what would that mean? So let's take a look. Our West Division leader is Nick. He has sole possession of first place in the West Division, but actually he's going to be the number 2 seed rather than the number 1 seed. That's because Taylor and Matt over in the East Division are actually a game up on him. They both clock in at 9-3. Taylor beat Matt 95-90 when they faced off in week number 9. And since head-to-head is our first tiebreaker, that gives Taylor possession of the East Division and the number 1 seed and pushes Matt down to the number 3 seed on the other side of Nick. So that's kind of the point that I want to make, is we have a lot of people really bunched up in terms of record right now, and the way that we break that tie is, first off, through head-to-head matchups. I'm going to talk through what that means in a second, just so that you know after head-to-head, then total points for across the entire season is the next tiebreaker. After that is division record, and that's the only other place where division actually comes into play, because we have the number 1 and the number 2 seeds in each division, and other than that, everything else is a wild card unless we get down to that tiebreaker. So let's go ahead and take a look at these playoff seeds then and see what we're actually looking at here. With a wild card after week number 11 is me, as Kayla Fish. That's not necessarily guaranteed yet, but if the playoffs started today, I would be in on the basis of winning percentage with no tiebreaker necessary. What about everybody else, though? Most of the league is still in the hunt for those final 4 spots, as you can see in this graphic here. The teams at 6-6, include Knights of Ren, and myself, and then the teams at 4 and 5, Spartan Scorgies, and Injury Prone. At 5 and 7 are Snake Farm, Team Lisinski, and Melky's Machine, all kind of still in the hunt for one of those 8 playoff spots. So how do we break up this logjam? Our league rules stipulate this year that the first tiebreaker is head-to-head. So, this is exactly what I want to break down, because we have a lot more than 2 heads that we need to think about, so this gets a little bit confusing. I actually called up ESPN's fantasy line to make sure that I understood, and that is the information that I'm passing along to you. So, first, we're going to take a look at all of the teams that are 6-6. That includes Eric, Dara, and both Gregs. Now, one of the advantages of the 14-team league is that everybody plays everyone else exactly 1 time. ESPN explained to me that the way head-to-head works is that it's fine no matter how many teams are tied, provided that each team that is tied has played each other the same number of times. In effect, they create their own private division within the league and are assigned a record for that hypothetical division. So with these 4 teams, here are those records. Eric beat Greg Eichhoff and Greg Trakta, but lost to Dara. He's 2-1. Greg E lost to Eric and Dara, but beat Greg Trakta, so he's 1-2. Dara beat Greg Eichhoff and Eric, but lost to Greg Trakta. He's also 2-1. Greg Trakta beat Dara, but lost to Greg Eichhoff and Eric. He's 1-2. So now that we've broken all this down, we still have some ties. So let's take a look at the 2-1 teams here. Eric actually lost to Dara. So to break that tie, Dara takes the head-to-head tiebreaker. So of the 6-6 teams, we'd break it down as Dara, Eric, Greg Eichhoff, and Greg Trakta in that order. So we can apply that same logic to the rest of the teams in our list, and we come up with a round 1 winners bracket that looks something like this as we head into week 14. If the playoffs started this week, this is how we do it. Would take on Injury Prone. The Spartan Scorgies would play as Kayla Fish. Knights of Ren would take on the 15-14-14-15s. The team at 4 and 6 would play She Hearns for me. and the remainder of the teams would be in the consolation bracket. So, I know that is pretty confusing. But I wanted to break it down a little bit because I know that head-to-head is a little bit unconventional and a little bit strange when we have so many teams tied up. So I hope that you find that helpful. I know that for a lot of you, this week already is kind of a form of a playoff week, and I wish you good luck. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good weekend.